Good afternoon. It is such a blessing to look out among the family and to see such a beautiful mix of the generations before me. I am so honored to be a part of the family, and I'm thinking about the words ringing in my ear with the elder warrior, Jesse Jackson, who said, we have a chance and we've got a choice. And so as Pastor Jenkins has said to us, we're going to look forward to standing in unity as we move forward. We are here preparing to pick up the rocks for Freedom Summer 2020, and I've been asked to reflect on the prophetic moment that we're embracing here. And in doing so, I just wanted to suggest that there is a word. There's a word that is prophetic. It is prophetically prescriptive. It is proscriptive, and it is descriptive. And so I want us to turn our attention to Jeremiah 12 and 3 and 13. It is prescriptive because it is a message to tell us what we must do to prepare ourselves. Jeremiah 12, 5 and 6 said, so Jeremiah, if you're worn out in this foot race with men, what makes you think you can race against horses? And if you can't keep your wits during times of calm, what's going to happen when troubles break loose like the Jordan in a flood? This word is proscriptive because it is a warning to the enemy of God, those who wield the power of the evil empire. Here are the words of Jeremiah 13, 15, and 16. Then I said, listen carefully. Don't stay stuck in your ways. It's God's message we're dealing with here. Let your lives grow bright before God, before he turns out the lights. Before you trip and fall on the dark mountain paths, the light you will always took for granted will go out and the world will turn black. This same word is descriptive because it gives us the vision of what will happen in God's time. Jeremiah 13, 18 says, go tell the king and the queen mother, come down off your high horses, your dazzling crowns will tumble off your heads. So let us come with gratitude and hope to this sacred assembly. Virtual though it is our spiritual launching pad for the successes of Freedom Summer 2020. We are grateful to the leadership of the Black Church PAC for calling us together. We stand with the ancestral and historical memory of Freedom Summer 1964, in which the courageous commitments, the faith, the acts of protestations by primarily young people led to the Mississippi and Southern voter registration efforts, during where our people experienced assassinations, lynchings, murders, Klan crosses, militarized resistance, church burnings, and untold acts of racialized violence against our bodies, our minds, and our spirits. It is reported that in Mississippi, out of over 17,000 courageous attempts to register, only 1,200 of us were able to do so. But that didn't stop us, no. Freedom Summer 1964, largely organized by the efforts of the quiet giant Bob Moses and SNCC, along with none other than Queen Mother Fannie Lou Hamer, still transformed the civil rights movement and left an indelible message to us this very day. The brutal murders of Michael Schwerner, Andrew Goodman, and James Chaney during Freedom Summer 64 exposed the brutality and mythology of America's democracy, again affirming Frederick Douglass's words, what to a slave is the 4th of July to me. The brutal murders and the holy rage of the people strengthened the resolve of a movement to which our beloved Queen Mother Fannie Lou Hamer, vice chair of the Mississippi Freedom Democratic Party, ascended. And she declared, I'm sick and tired of being sick and tired. The holy rage of the people led to freedom schools and freedom houses, the Voting Rights Acts of 1964 and 1965. So with the text of Jeremiah in our hearts and our meditations and the call to sacred memory, let us be reminded that Freedom Summer then, 1964, is not unlike Freedom Summer now, 2020. Then and now, there were and are serious questions about the role of the church and clergy, and who will be left standing and left speaking for the interest of the people, not the interest of the leadership. Then and now, there were and are serious questions about the role of a priestly hierarchy versus a prophetic kinship. Let us understand that Freedom Summer 1964, like Freedom Summer 2020, demonstrates that God's movement for justice can be built by people who are faith-inspired and not necessarily church-defined. It showed us then, as COVID-19 is showing us now, that the movement can't be about worship of your temple, but must be about worship of God. It showed us then, as we know now, powerful movements engage and connect to global issues. Vietnam and South Africa then, the entire globe today. And powerful movements also have competing and complementary voices that can either derail or propel forward the movement. Yes, there was SCLC and Dr. King and Nonviolence, but there was also SNCC, Stokely Carmichael and Black Power. Yes, there was Martin, but there was also Malcolm. Yes, there were Freedom Riders, but there were also Black Panthers. Don't forget that, my children. For such a time as this, as we declare our covenant to this ministry with the sacred book and the prophetic instruction of Jeremiah, I commend for our collective study 2 other documents which we will make available. One is called, if you have not heard it, the Blitz Playbook. It is a document of the Congressional Prayer Caucus, released in 2016 and 17. Its formal name is Report and Analysis on Religious Freedom Measures Impacting Prayer and Faith in America. Legislation, proclamations, talking points, notes, and fact sheets. It's 116 pages, which has become the roadmap and the plan adopted by right-wing Republicans in 2016 to organize the very agenda we're struggling against, state by state, locale by locale. And much of it they have quietly accomplished because they kept their eye on the prize. The other document I commend for our collective study is the plan of organizing and mobilizing the 1968 Memphis boycott and movement, the handwritten notes of Reverend Henry Starks. It was founded by his daughter just several years ago while going through his papers. If you read it today, it prophetically encapsulates much of what we need to focus upon and how we need to reorganize, especially and even more so, given our dependency on technology that can be disabled at a whim's notice and at a time in which we have lost so much of relational and personal organizing methodology. Now, for the record, I want to close by noting the more things change, the more they stay the same. The Kanye West of today is but the Allen Keys of another generation. So do not despair. The deep wisdom that springs forth from our AMA bishops ought guide our next steps. Firstly, this very morning, in responding to the Kanye West factor, our beloved elder and co-founder of the Black Church PAC, AME Bishop Frank Madison Reed III, advises us that, quote, this just means we will have to work a little harder. The ego can be easily deceived. Hopefully, this is only the temporary insanity of a gifted young man. Keep your eyes on the prize. Secondly, and in closing, I offer a Sankofa remix of Eternal Wisdom from the Ancestral Realm. In 1896, the presidential race was between William Jennings Bryan, Democrat, and William McKinley, Republican. The AME Bishop, Henry McNeil Turner, says the prize is to go out and get our people to vote. And when they ask you which way to vote, say the following, and I quote what he said in 1896. All the advice we have to give to our people of the Negro is vote for the gold standard if you think it will help to kill this rotten old sham of a nation. Vote for the silver platform or 16-1 if you think that will assist in its destruction. What time has the full Negro to bother with the gold or silver side either, while he is lynched, burnt, frayed, imprisoned, etc., 2/3 of the time for nothing? Vote any way in your power to overthrow, destroy, ruin, blot out, divide, crush, dissolve, wreck, consume, demolish, disorganize, suppress, subvert, smash, shipwreck, crumble, nullify, upset, uproot, expunge, and fragmentize this nation until it learns to deal justly with the Black man. This is all the advice we have to give. October 1896. Well, family, it's time for us to pick up the rocks. Let us ready ourselves to put on the full armor of God and go forth with the prescriptive, proscriptive, and descriptive proclamation of Jeremiah. So, Jeremiah, if you're worn out in this foot race with men, what makes you think you can race against horses? Let your lives glow bright before God before he turns out the lights. Go tell the king and the queen mother, come down off your high horses. Your dazzling crowns will tumble off your heads. To God be the glory for what Mother, Father, God is about to do through us all. Amen and Ashe.